Stay out super late tonight, picking apples, making pie. Put a little something in our lemonade and take it with us. We're half awake in a fake empire. We're half awake in a fake empire. Tiptoe through our shiny city with our diamond slippers on.
But first, let me talk about how we got here. About 3 weeks prior to this event, I was inside my house and I got a phone call. It's from a lady claiming to be Barbara Ron. I quickly remembered her to be the one who did my senior exit interview at school. She's from the Interact Club of Boone County, Kentucky. We were going on a trip to make a documentary in the Dominican Republic. I need a passport, a good thing of bug cream, a video camera, some sunglasses, and of course, as every filmmaker needs, a good roll of gaff tape. But only that would be confiscated in customs. Here we were in Santo Domingo. Definitely a different experience landing in another country, especially on your first plane ride. Getting our passports stamped through customs and all the other fun stuff that ensue when going to a foreign country, we were ready to begin our trip. We met Gus's wife. Soon, outside the sweltering heat of the airport, we met Gus himself pulling up on an ugly green bus.
Of darkness in the valley, we can live like Jack and Sally if we want, where you can always find me. And we'll have Halloween on Christmas, and in the night we'll wish this never ends. We'll wish this never ends.
Alright, so we just arrived in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. I'm still trying to convince myself I'm in a different country. Honking means nothing hostile here. Yeah, it's hot and it's awesome.
Can't help falling in love with you.
Outside the walls, we soon found ourselves inside the Rawlings Foundation's Tierra Alta, which also doubles as the San Francisco Giants training camp.
If I can't help falling in love with you, like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so we go. Some things we're meant to.
Then Barbara presented Gus and his wife with an iPad just as a favor to exchange for letting us stay there for the week and do awesome things with them. Then it was off to go get some dinner.
surely to the sea. Darling, so we go.
Today we were at a preschool, getting to hang out with these really awesome kids who just got to share their culture with us. Although we're speaking two completely different languages, we're having just as much fun as we would here in America. Our volunteers were excited to help us out as we serve Kool-Aid and other various candies to the kids.
Just because of her doesn't mean I didn't get what I deserve.
Playing Ode to Joy for us, they presented us with this nice American ensemble of music, played by the simple elementary flashback instruments of recorders. From what we heard, they practiced months for us.
3 friends, one in England, one in Spain, and one here locally that sponsor the snacks for the children. That is 800 pesos a month. So then she's able to give all the kids a snack. But the reason why she wanted the meal is that way those children can get the meal. And then it's 600 pesos a month.
As we learned, the teacher's main objective for the kids was not only to give them snack, but also to give them a meal a day. Because if many kids are lucky, they may be able to get just one meal a day. Something we're not used to. Her mission was inspiring, and the Rotary Club moved forward into thinking of how we could possibly support this preschool back in America. Back in the van, we drove to the orphanage. This orphanage sponsored handicapped kids who were abandoned by their families and couldn't be taken care of.
These are the girls' side.
Heartbreaking, at the same time inspiring these kids to love having our attention and just being able to hang out with us. Because inside, there's still a soul.
Decay, but I won't rot. I won't rot. Not in this mind.
Inside, the owner took us to a small room where he kept all of his supplies. As you can imagine, it takes a lot of supplies to run this orphanage. Luckily, we were able to contribute to this.
And we stood tall and remembered our own life.
Dominican Republic. I was asking Lucas and Train to see how some of these kids come about, how they rescue some of these kids, some of the stories, at least of a few of them. Le estaba explicando lo que le va a decir, cómo es que los niños vienen a veces, cómo te llaman, las personas, las familias, el gobierno, cómo es que son los niños, si le puedes dar 2 o 3 historias.
Sí, los niños de la siguiente manera, hay niños que son abandonados, que los dejan en hospitales.
There's some children that are abandoned, left in hospitals.
A veces en la calle.
Sometimes on the street.
Y hay otros que sus familiares, por escasos recursos,
Special needs child.
y para darle la oportunidad de que puedan trabajar para los otros niños, que cogemos a esos niños, pero los traemos aquí y después que vienen no vuelven más, los dejan en abandono.
And sometimes, most of the times, they take the preference for them is to have the single moms that have all these kids, so she can continue to work for the other kids. They'll rescue that child, and then unfortunately though they keep them here, and after a few years that the mother abandons the kids and they don't come back, but the kids will stay here. They've had some for a few years.
Go.
Lydia. Yeah.
Ask me the question again.
Yeah, okay, alright.
I'm sorry.
So, with the idea of doing things for people, why is this trip so important to you?
Because we can make a difference in somebody's life one act at a time.
And why is that important to you?
Children in general are important to me, and these children here at this facility, at this orphanage, just want to be like regular people, to be acknowledged and to be cared for and to be treated appropriately. And we can make a difference just by being here. But we can also make a difference by doing something for it. And that's important. One act at a time. It only takes a little thought, a little to make a difference in somebody's life.
After our visit at the orphanage, it was time to head back. Day 3, we found ourselves in a village that was slightly poorer than the place we had originally stayed at in Boca Chica. Gus took us up there to help paint a couple houses and also have a good time with the locals.
I've been trying to keep my grip, yeah, I think I'm over this. I can hear it now, oh no, yeah, my tongue will let it slip. Why'd I do those things I did? I can taste it now, oh no, I'll try my best. How much do I invest? Like high voltage in.
But there's homes way out there now. It gets really, really poor.
Yeah.
And the roads you can't even get into down there. But they're planning a church there. If you're familiar with Woodstock Baptist Church, the big church out of Marietta. Pastor Johnny Hunt has a missionary here. And they're very involved here, and they really totally funded the church. Woodstock Baptist. I think it's a 15,000 member church. So they're doing a great job in this area, and they go way in there.
How much do I invest? Like high voltage in her lips. I'll try my best. How much do I invest? Like high voltage when we kiss. High voltage in her lips. They catch me when I slip.
Oye, no se pare, no se pare, no se pare.
I'll try my best. How much do I invest? Like caress. High voltage in her lips. I'll try my best. How much do I invest? Like caress. High voltage when we kiss.
After our day of working, we were rewarded with a nice day at the beach. Just outside of Boca Chica, these clear waters were always welcome to us. To kick off our fourth and final day in Santo Domingo, we decided to have a staff clothes drive with items donated from the Rotary Club. This allowed them to pick out items of clothing for their family and as well as themselves.
Never looks so sweet. I hear its voices calling me, stained by the blood of a weaker man. It seems to fit perfect in my hand. Whoa, what's another for today? Whoa.
Then after that, Tyler and I were treated to an experience of being able to watch Dominican teenage baseball players go at it in a pickup game. However, in this pickup game, Each pitch is 85 miles per hour, and each hit is out of the park. Or just about.
This rusty dagger take away from me, and I'm telling these voices down the leaves, and it may be stained by a weaker man, but I stand alive with open hands. Whoa, I'm another for today. Whoa, not another in the game.
Finally, towards the end of the day, we got to go see the town of Santo Domingo. A town full of rich history, religion, and so much culture that it might take a couple trips to fully experience it all.
I was burned out and lost. A dusty bulb, an abandoned lot. And the nighttime was the worst. It shows you all the things you lost. There's no light in here now. There's no light in here now. If you take the kids and go, I can't blame you for the things you know. And when I'm out there on the road, I think of you and those kids at home. There's no light in here now. There's no light in here now. 10,000 ways.
After spending time at a market in the middle of the town, treating ourselves to things such as souvenirs and possibly some Dominican cigars, it was time to head to our meeting in the pouring down rain.
Gracias por ser tan amable en hospedarnos a Lenny y por todo que nos ha ayudado. Sé que también tiene una bandera para nosotros, nuestra bandera.
Permítame, por favor, me gustaría.
Okay.
We played the last few days. Again, I love it, and
Quieren contribuir los fondos y así entonces les podemos mandar 250. With really to combat, you know, especialmente el tema del chapter.
Yeah, in the amount of $500.
Pero nos gustaría una donación de $500 y para un proyecto.
Before you know it, 4 days had flown by. Shortly after that, we found ourselves back on a plane, headed back home to America, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Honey, come
For
home.
one last time that week, we walked through an airport and reminisced about the times when we were in Santo Domingo, which only seemed a short time ago.
Behind me now. They're behind me now. And there's nothing here.
But you know, at the end of it all, it felt good to be home.
Honey, come home. My stubborn ways are behind me.
It felt good to be home. And that's our story.